Have you ever wondered why Guarma is so big, even though you can barely explore a quarter of the map? Have you ever wondered why Arthur has voice lines for New Austin, despite it being on complete lockdown? Hell, maybe you even wonder why there is so much detail outside of the map, despite it being completely inaccessible? Today I will tell you the answers to all these questions, and even show off some cool finds from the beta phase of Red Dead 2. So buckle up as we dive into the rather messy development of the masterpiece that is Red Dead Redemption 2. So to answer the first question, why the hell is Guarma so goddamn huge? Is it A. Cinematic reasons, B. Unnecessary enlargement, or C. An attempt to cut down the game? I'll give you 5 seconds. If you answered all of the above, you would be 100% correct. Guarma was needlessly enlarged to cut down on the original vision of the chapter. Guarma was going to be much smaller with more content, with its name being Guarma instead of Guarma. I know, a little weird change, but who cares. It would have had a couple of towns, and a couple interesting locations as well. Funnily enough, evidenced by beta maps found in the game files, shout out to the legendary Pariah 87 and Basement Gamer Bros, Guarma was present in development all the way up until late 2017 or even early 2018, and there are still many leftovers that can be found in the files today, with one of the skyboxes still present and seeable in-game. Guarma is one of the worst cases of cut content in gaming history. From a small, navigable, content-packed island that was even connected to the map, to a massively bloated landmass that is present for one chapter, and otherwise a barely visible LOD on the horizon. One of the more prevalent facts about the development of RDR2 is that if you travel to New Austin as Arthur, most likely with cheats, you can interact with townsfolk. Nothing special, right? Well, what makes it special is that Arthur has specific lines catered to the residents of the state, even though he's not even supposed to be there in the first place. Take a listen.
Mister?
Morning, mister.
You need to get some help, friend.
Mm-hmm.
You look kind of sick.
See you again, maybe.
Morning, mister.
Sorry you got it so bad here. Hope things turn around for you.
See you later, I hope.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, mister.
This town is in a mess.
Huh?
You try and look after yourself, friend.
Bye now.
On top of that, it is entirely possible to earn the Legend of the East outfit for Arthur, and some random encounters are also available in both West Elizabeth and New Austin. Ambarino, love it or hate it, is a state in the game. The cold, snowy hills are sometimes a very nice, relaxing trip to embark on. But did you ever wonder something? Why does Ambarino look so off? The state seems very squashed in and has a weird, protruding southern tumor that should logically be owned by New Hanover, right? Well, you'll never guess why it looks like this. Remember the segment about New Austin? The game's original plan was to exclude New Austin and Nuevo Paraiso because it simply wouldn't make sense story-wise, and it was unnecessary bloat regardless. But due to this map change, and also cutting down the once very long prologue chapter, Ambarino had to be butchered and moved down south to make up for New Austin's presence, leaving us with, well, the goofiest state borders of all time. Also, last quick note, on top of restricting Ambarino's size, they also added a ton of inaccessible areas, making the state's true size even smaller. Just look at the difference between this early 2017 map and the final one. Christ almighty, so much land was cut for a shitty little copy and pasted southern state, and they never even finished Mexico. God, it makes me fucking angry looking at this. Oh my, I can't even do this. On to the next one. Speaking of Mexico, let's move on to the absolutely failed state of Nuevo Paraiso. Remember how I talked about how New Austin was pushed into development, barely squeezed in? Well, guess what? Nuevo Paraiso was also a part of that. While they just barely squeezed New Austin into the game, Nuevo Paraiso was barely worked on. The only bit of Mexico completed is the terrain, which is probably most likely ported from RDR1, and the one location of El Presidio, which has barely any finished nav mesh. Not to mention, there are tons of NPCs that were made for Mexico upon countless voice lines to go with them. All of the terrain is perfectly set up to place every town and landmark, and if you get to Mexico with a horse, you will hear the ambient music from RDR1 play. Not even kidding, try this yourself. Fun fact, there's also a mod which fully restores Nuevo Paraiso, but apparently it is a bit buggy. So take caution as always, mod link is in the description. Finally, the frequent reshuffling of mountains during development stood out. Rockstar had a very strange habit of moving mountain ranges with every single minor adjustment. In all the early maps we have available to us, Ambarino's layout was consistently rearranged. Why did this happen, you ask? Partly due to the development of New Austin, which required massive scaling down of the northern regions to accommodate the new addition. It's also possible that the developers simply just didn't like how it looked. We may never know for sure, but let Pariah 87 show you some of the shuffles. The oldest map is probably the first map we saw leaked in 2016, and it still remains today as our main beta reference map. The Dakota River once branched northeast across the entire map at this point in development. The Lanahatchee River branches off out the southeast corner, which is where Guarma is located within the same map. In the northwest, none of Chapter 1 from the final game is mapped either, apart from a couple of the mountains seen as terrain out of bounds. So, I hope you enjoyed those small facts. This video was stuck in production hell for a good while, so if you could at the very least like this video, that would be immensely appreciated. I will try to get my video schedule once every 2 weeks, but I will see about that if the schedule permits, at least. That sounds stupid, whatever. Anyway, good day or night.